glad I brought my ukulele. You never know, when you're at the popcorn counter, it's good to have some musical instruments sometimes.
It's beautiful. So, Andres Lorente, as you know, it's there's a huge appetite for musical biopics at the moment. So the mere fact that you've brought a ukulele to the popcorn counter means that there's a 50-50 chance there will be a musical biopic about you in cinemas within the next 18 months.
That's what I'm marketing right now, my friend.
Frankly, we are running out of musicians from the 70s and 80s to make musical biopics about. So, all comers welcome these days. Well, we've seen... Oh, we talked about it last week. We've seen so many musical biopics lately. I feel like we probably ought to get in on the act.
Yes.
And I reckon there is probably a big reservoir of underappreciated rock, pop and musical acts who really deserve a biopic that might be a little bit less bland and inoffensive than the Springsteen picture. To the extent that I have actually, so I don't know whether you've done the same thing. I've brought a short list of musical biopics that I think I would like to see because they can only be more entertaining than what we've been presented with.
I have done the same. It's a little longer, I think, because I need some backup because I'm sure yours I have stolen. So
well, I don't know. Mine. I feel like mine are non-obvious.
Oh, good.
Choices, but maybe you will laugh at my idea of what is non-obvious.
Pray tell.
Certainly mine are certainly non-commercial.
Okay.
I've got 3 musical biopics on my list here, which will be a pretty hard sell to any studio, I reckon, but it's worth a try.
Okay. What do you got? I got
okay, my first one. Okay. Well, I say this is a hard sell. This is a musical biopic about what I think is probably, I could be wrong, probably Canada's biggest ever musical export. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe Canada's biggest ever musical export is Drake.
Yeah,
he's Canadian, isn't he?
Right now, yeah, he is Canadian.
Okay, right, yeah. So it's not Drake. And it's not Alanis Morissette. She's Canadian. Am I
she is
right?
Canadian, yeah.
So it's not Alanis Morissette.
Oh.
It's a trio of highly accomplished Canadian rockers who were recording songs still until maybe, I don't know, 8 or 9 years ago, something like that. I reckon I would like to see a musical biopic about Rush. But there is a condition insofar as I'm an unashamed nerd.
Yeah.
I have got a lot of Rush songs which I listen to in the car, but so many Rush songs are more like short stories or film pitches in themselves.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you've listened to like Hemispheres. So the first half of that album, Cygnus X1.
Yeah.
It's like a whole cycle of science fiction books, but told as a song.
Yeah.
Tom Sawyer is like a detailed character sketch. The Trees, I don't know if you know that. It's like that is like an animated film about a forest with a moral. Or Red Barchetta. Have you heard that?
I love Red Barchetta.
That is like a whole science fiction story.
Awesome.
Or the first act of a movie. So I reckon, there are so many tremendously cinematic Rush songs that I would love to see a Rush biopic, which is actually 75 or 80% epic fantasy, utilising the stories of some of the Rush songs.
Yeah.
So I would be very happy to see. I would be happy to see an entire movie of Red Barchetta. That would be a great film, a kind of dystopian film, about a future where cars are banned, and yet, the main character has got this one well-maintained. Is it a Fiat? Who makes Barchetta? I think it's Fiat, is it? It's a Fiat sports car, which he kind of, unfurls and rides around the wasteland. I would quite happily see an entire film of that.
Yeah.
And maybe we could sandwich a little bit of Rush, the band, in between.
Yeah.
But largely, I think Rush deserve a biopic because the songs lend themselves to cinema. And it just seems like a no-brainer. I can't believe no one's done it already.
Storytellers, yeah. I think you're right. That's good. They have had a death in the family, I believe, right? So
yeah, so I think it's Neil Peart, isn't
Neil
it?
Peart,
Is
yeah.
not alive anymore.
Not that long ago, but yeah, I think you're right. I'm trying to envision it. Is it more like a collection of video portrayals of their songs, or is there, you know, the biopic is usually talking about their lives a little bit and how they came up with some of these songs?
Well,
Sort of mixture.
tell you what it reminds me of, which is a movie that I once pitched about some youngsters who do like audio drama podcasts for fun.
Okay.
And half of the movie is like a coming of age story about these youngsters kind of, sort of falling in love and learning about the adult world as they record their kind of quite nerdy sort of fantasy and science fiction audio dramas for a podcast. And then the other half of the film is using those same actors and casting them in enormous widescreen proper filmed versions of the kind of the cheesy science fiction and fantasy stories, and yet you kind of intercut between the two. And so that's what I imagine, that we have a bit of the story of Rush, but we intercut them with the story of the songs. But the actors playing the musicians are also the actors playing the leads in the stories.
Okay. Nice. Yeah.
So that's a way of spending even more money while still not expecting to make very much back from, but I don't know how many people are going to go and see a Rush movie. There'll be a small number of people who will go and see it many, many times. Yeah. Maybe I'm underestimating the appeal of Rush. Yeah. Maybe, perhaps if you stop people in the street, more people will be able to name Rush songs than I imagine. But in my mind, they seem like a minority interest.
I would say get permission and then get writing. And then get a bigger bank account, because it's going to need some space for the piles of cash that they take and dump off from the Brinks trucks into your account. So, yeah.
Does anyone have Geddy Lee's email, please? Please send it in.
Probably, yeah. Wow.
What have you got then? I'm sure you can top that. What you got?
I'm going to go, I kind of want to see, maybe I'm in a Night of the Hunter mode or something like that, but I want to see a Frank Sinatra biopic. I don't think I've seen that yet. Just because of the times that he was living and active in. I mean, I love the fact that he, starts in the 40s or whatnot. He gets to be pretty big in the 50s. He's acting into the 60s. Gets kind of lame come the 70s and 80s. He's a bloated Vegas singer. He's got the mafia ties. He's been married to a series of famous women. He's in the Rat Pack, so he's got some social life to explore. I just think he's got such a rich life that covers just a good swath of American 20th century history. So
it really does, doesn't it?
I like a Sinatra biopic. I don't know that I've seen one. And I love a lot of his songs, so I think the music's obviously going to be great, but he wasn't really, he couldn't read music. I don't know that he was really trained as a singer. He was just a natural talent. And then, he's done some great acting too. You think of Manchurian Candidate or The Man with the Golden Arm. There's a lot to explore there. I just think there's tons to explore, and I think I think there is an audience for that, but that's me because I'm an old fart, right? I mean, does anyone talk about Sinatra anymore?
I mean, you're right. Do people talk about Sinatra anymore? That I used to do used to anesthetize for an eye list with a surgeon who had one CD when we had a CD player in the operating theatre. His one CD was Frank Sinatra. He would always play the same CD for every operating list. So I ended up getting to know the songs really well. Heard that CD 50 times over. But they are great songs. Yeah. And this movie is a little bit like it's 40% Goodfellas. Yeah, 60% Walk the Line or something, isn't it? It's such a great combination. I can't believe that somebody hasn't already done it. Yeah, which makes me worry that because of the mob connections, people have tried to do it, and it's been smacked down.
Yeah, it's possible
because it's so cinematic.
Very cinematic.
It seems like a no-brainer. What a brilliant idea!
And you got all these superstars. I mean, he worked with like Duke Ellington and. So many arrangers, so many musicians, so many composers. So he's out there.
I mean, the whole kind of Rat Pack thing.
Yeah.
That's what they were called, wasn't it? Yeah. I mean, it seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
The only worry is whether all the people who would pay money to go and see that movie are now just very slightly too old.
Yeah.
Whereas if you'd made it 10 years ago, you could have cleaned up.
I would think like hearing aids at the door or some sort of augmentary listening devices, maybe like a fully magnified screen in the front for a theatrical release.
Just get all the actors to talk loudly. Yeah, that would be brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, I cannot believe that has not been made.
Yeah.
That is an excellent idea.
How about you?
Oh my God, it sells itself.
What about another one from you?
Okay, all right. Well, okay, a bit more obscure.
Ooh.
I'm really sorry. This is a band who are like a huge psychedelic dance music band in the UK in the 1990s who may well never have travelled across to the United States. So this might be a band that no one has ever heard of in the US. You can tell me whether you've heard of these guys or not. The Orb. Have you heard of them?
I have, because I think I'm in love with one of their songs.
Oh, is it The Blue Room?
No.
Oh.
Is it it's the clouds, thin crispy clouds?
Oh yeah, Little Fluffy Clouds.
Little Fluffy Clouds.
Little Fluffy Clouds.
It's because it's Ricky Lee Jones's voice.
That is a great song. So I mean, they were kind of unavoidable in the 90s in Britain. They had this enormous sort of epic dub sound, and tracks that would go on for 25 minutes.
Yeah,
and it was kind of very psychedelic and very druggy. Every album was like a journey in itself. It was inviting you to put the cassette in your Walkman, put your headphones on, turn down the lights, and go on a journey with the Orb.
Huh.
But again, I think it would have to be at least a 70% fantasy movie.
Okay.
Because if we're just going to watch people record the songs of the Orb, then it is no fun watching people fiddle with samplers in a studio.
Yeah, exactly.
While they smoke dope. I mean, that was probably fun to do, but not fun to watch. But the thing is, it's the mental journeys of the music that I want to see.
Nice.
And I don't think a biopic necessarily needs to be historically accurate. It needs to be accurate to the tone and the feeling of the music.
Yeah.
So in my mind, the Orb would be like a Philip K. Dick style, hallucinatory, drug-like fugue.
Yeah, of course.
That there probably would be quite a bit of taking of drugs, and there would be a lot of music, but it would be maybe a little bit like, say, the Pink Floyd movie The Wall, where it's kind of partly dreamlike and sort of partly hallucinatory and also partly quite gritty and real.
Yeah,
and it would just take me through journeys through dimensions, like a mind-bending travelogue to some kind of. Because I believe there is some kind of universal truth that lies at the heart of the Orb. Yeah, and I think the journey to that universal truth would be fascinating. I would love to see that. The soundtrack's already written.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're kind of they're pretty kind of. It's basically, I think it's one guy and whichever other interesting musicians he could gather around him. But it's largely, I think it's Alex Patterson, isn't it? I think.
Okay.
It was the Orb, and so I would like to see what mental journeys he went on to make those seminal records and join him on them.
Ooh, I like that.
But hard sell. I don't know.
Maybe.
You have to call it Little Fluffy Clouds.
Oh God, great number.
Yeah, well, why not? Why not?
I love that one. Little Fluffy Clouds. Okay, well, there's a connection here because Ricky Lee Jones voices Little Fluffy Clouds.
Right.
And she was in a relationship with...
Oh, I like this. Is almost like we planned it out. Yes,
exactly.
Carry on.
She was in a relationship with a person for whom I think a biopic would be fantastic. And it's a storyteller thing, too. This person is a great storyteller, and I would love to see this person sort of walking through, like, yes, it's about, okay, I'll use a pronoun here, it's about his life, but I would love to see him interacting with some of the characters he's created for songs. So it would be, yes, partially, and I think James Mangold and Bob Dylan gave us a gift when they decided to play with Dylan's life in order to make it more interesting. So I think Tom Waits is ready for a biopic, and I think it'd be great because he has acted. If you've seen Jim Jarmusch's Down by Law, one of my favorite Jarmusch films, he's done some acting. Great storyteller, great performer, and just an interesting life, and such an imagination that I think it would be great if I don't know who would play him, but if the actor sort of walked through the various stories that he's writing into the song. So I think Tom
Joaquin
Waits
Phoenix probably. Do you think would be Tom Waits? Could he do that?
Yeah, he probably could.
Or maybe he's too old now.
Yeah,
but Tom Waits never looked very youthful.
No, he didn't.
Wasn't Tom Waits in City of Lost Children, or he was in something that we've seen recently?
Well, he looks a lot like Ron Perlman, so I always get them confused. Yeah. I think Ron Perlman's in City of Lost Children. He looks exactly like Tom Waits. Yeah. I can get some of his film credits up. I mean, the great one is, of course, Down by Law. But I think he's also in, is he in Jarmusch's first film, the big one? Come on. All right, now I've got to... Yeah. While I'm Googling two different people, maybe you could discuss a third person, something like that.
Well, I have got a third pitch, which is now...
Stranger Than Paradise. I'm sorry. Okay, that's
right. Yeah.
That's the Jarmusch film. I thought he was in that, but almost. Okay, keep going.
Right. Okay. And a couple of years ago, we were talking about pitching. Was it pitching detective shows or pitching? Maybe it was pitching 70s remakes, I think. Anyway, so a long time ago, and it still sticks in my head, I pitched a weekly investigative show called Private Eyes, starring a fictionalized version of Hall & Oates. And I was tempted to resurrect that, but no, this popcorn counter deserves a new idea. So I would make a film with a similar sort of tone, I think. So like a weekly investigative show, I think, or maybe like a weekly kind of like mystery show with someone who is like a spy, an assassin, but it would be based on the life of super charismatic Jamaican pop star Grace Jones.
Ooh.
So who has had like a bit of a crazy life.
Yeah.
Started out as a model, then she kind of became, so through modeling, big on the disco scene, and then kind of segued into a pop music career. She made some very interesting records. I mean, some quite experimental records. And and then you went on and did like a whole bunch of acting. She was in Conan the Destroyer. She was in View to a Kill. That kind of one of the not very good Roger Moore pictures. So it had a very interesting life, but I think it was not an enormous stretch of the imagination to imagine that while she was doing her disco scene stuff and her acting and making records and being a model, at the same time, she was also working as a spy and an assassin. Very easy to believe that.
Wow.
We interweave the story of her real life with a kind of fictionalized layer of a kind of a weirder, stranger, and yet equally believable fictional life.
Yeah.
On top of her real life. Grace Jones looks so characteristic. You can easily see her as a spy, but at the same time, you could see her wearing a nun disguise, or being an explorer, or this. She's such a great personality.
Yeah.
I could easily imagine writing her life as her playing all these different roles.
Yeah.
And yet at the still finding time to record Slave to the Rhythm, which is probably what the movie will be called.
Good title.
So life story of Grace Jones, but we'll fictionalize half of it. There's a theme, isn't there? And so none of my musical biopics are straight, are they? I'm afraid. I'm sorry. I've cheated with all of them. But I would pay money to go and see that fictionalized, semi-fictionalized life of Grace Jones.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Sign me up.
That's honest. Tom Waits.
Okay, now's your chance to say something. Come on, outdo me.
Well, Tom Waits, Rumblefish, Down by Law, Cotton Club. Wow.
Oh, wow. I didn't know he was in that.
Mystery Train, another Jarmusch film, Fisher King with Robin Williams. Until the End of the World, which I don't think I've seen and I still want to. It's a wild one. A lot of of course, Shortcuts. That's a Robert Altman film, I think, from way back when. Yeah, he's done a lot. He's done a lot. So Ballad of Buster Scruggs. It's great that they have internet here at the counter, the popcorn counter, because here I am just using my computer to tell you about Tom Waits. So let's see. All right, I tried to be some of my other takes were more friendly to the British crowd, the British listeners, as well as the American listeners, but I'm not talking about them. I was going to sneak David Bowie in because I think there's and then Nick Drake, who I've really fallen in love with in the last few years. But those guys I'm not going to mention because, and then I was also going to mention Warren Zevon because he wrote Werewolves of London. And I met him one night at LL Bean, and I wish that if there were a biopic about Warren Zevon, me meeting him at LL Bean would be a scene in the film. Because it was
what was that? That was a major turning point in his life. What was Warren Zevon like?
He was a nice guy. I sort of assaulted him in the like where the winter jackets where he's just trying to buy something, and I cornered him and talked to him for a couple minutes.
Nice.
So I don't know that he was very happy about it, but anyway, great guy, great guy. Okay, so I thought of this one does I think have some international appeal, but I'm not sure because this is a banned film. You had a banned film.
Right, okay.
From a group
that's BAND, not double NED.
Thank you for clarifying.
Okay.
This is a group that was once briefly known as the Next Beatles, an American group when I was a kid. And I just think it would be interesting because they ended up not being much of a group at all. And then, so it would be like this burst of success early on. I'm sure they played together as youngins, maybe in high school or whatever, and then, hit it big, and then they were big for a while. But then I think the downfall is the interesting part of the story, perhaps. And that is the biopic of The Knack.
The Knack? Actually, I thought you were going to say the Monkees then. The Knack.
The Monkees. I did like the Monkees too. The Knack. Do you remember The Knack?
Oh, man. So they rings a bell, but I could not tell you a single thing about them.
Okay. My Sharona.
Oh, there you go. Right, yes.
Yeah. So, which Weird Al Yankovic made into My Bologna, which was brilliant. That really skyrocketed his career. And there is a film about Weird Al, I think, which is great.
Oh, yeah.
Which was with Daniel Radcliffe. Who's the Harry Potter person? Is that Radcliffe?
Yeah, that is Radcliffe, isn't it?
The Knack, yeah. So I think it would just be interesting to see a band that wasn't in a biopic. Maybe that's got no audience whatsoever, but that's the one I want to see. And again, you could probably take liberties with it. I know that Doug Fieger, the sort of the lead singer and guitarist, I think he ended up working in a guitar store.
Oh,
which makes perfectly good sense. The guy played guitar. So I think, it would just be interesting to see where they ended up after such huge success. I'm always curious to know if those people still have money, because you'd think there are royalties coming in and they made a ton of money early on, but did they save? Did they invest wisely? I think that could be a real cautionary tale for people handling their personal finances, which is great cinema right there. Personal finances, you see some spreadsheets.
What if one of the other problems is that a lot of these young bands signed very disadvantageous contracts?
Exactly, early on, and then had to tour constantly to make any cash. Yeah. So anyway, I think that would be interesting because, we tend to go towards real success stories for our biopics, but I think someone who was not such a great success probably tells a more truthful story.
A cautionary tale.
Yeah.
Did they have a second hit?
They had a second album. They had that. I love that album. The first album is called Get the Knack. And very Beatles-esque, a picture of the four of them wearing kind of vests and black jackets or black vests with white shirts. And but ton of good songs on that one. My Sharona, Good Girls Don't is on there. Maybe Tonight's a nice tune. That's What the Little Girls Do. A lot of girl songs.
Maybe Tonight is what the film will be called, isn't it?
That would be good. Maybe Tonight.
Maybe Tonight.
Yeah. So, possible. So I wanted to throw one thing in there that wasn't like a truly success story, but something with some failure too.
There is usually, this is what I'm basing my entire career on. There's more to learn from failure than success.
Precisely.
I've learned an enormous amount. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's true. I think the real question in life is, or perhaps problem with life is some people don't learn from their failures. And I think that's the catch. So I think there is a great value in being wrong and failing and then taking something away from it. But you have to reflect in order to get that far.
Well, I've learned so much from failure that I've become extremely good at it over the years. Really, I consider it one of my personal major achievements. Right. Well, 6 pretty good musical biopics.
Yeah.
All of them considerably more inspiring sounding than the Springsteen picture, I'm sorry to say. Great though Springsteen is. Oh, shucks.
I think I think you should repitch the Bruce Springsteen's colon thing, because that has legs. Ooh, his colon has legs. So that could be a good one.
Endoscopy on widescreen. People will pay money for that. Right. Okay. That's enough music for now.
Exactly.
Maybe we should go and see something a little bit more weird and science fictional.
Let's do it.
We're going to see Begonia.
There we go. And then we'll talk about that later. What about a Yorgos Lanthimos biopic?
Now that will be weird.
And he would direct it too. With Emma Stone playing Yorgos Lanthimos.
Yes, yeah, Emma Stone playing Yorgos. This material writes itself, doesn't it?